Oink, oink, old man. How are you? Segment 2. This brought to you by Boddington's, another one of the original ales from across the pond there.
Mm-hmm.
This Boddington's, this is brought
1778.
to you. Yes, this is some of the good stuff.
After we won our independence, they decided they had to do something over there.
Do something right.
To get some solace, and they invented this beer.
I mean, when you can't sit down from the ass kicking, you might as well, you got to get something to help ease the pain. And Europe does it right. They did it right. This is Boddington's. This is the sponsor of our second segment. Segment 2, the highly questionable and RJ Miliaccio. IDD, for those of you who know, I don't disagree, for those of you who just discovered fire.
Smooth and creamy, just like IDD.
The brother from a not-so-adjacent mother. We miss you, Marge. That is John McCosh. Yeah. Segment 2, NFL preseason. Is the honeymoon over?
And
in New England.
We have an authentic Bostonian over here, by the way.
Yeah. We do. He's back there. Joining us. And by the way, that the look on his face tells the story. Maybe it is over. I don't know. But there's been a lot of rumblings, John.
There have been some rumblings.
A lot of rumblings.
This is right.
Some rumblings.
This is where my opinions come into
play.
There
have been some serious rumblings the past 10 to 14 days up here in the North Country. Is the honeymoon over between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick? Now, he's been here pretty much through the whole thing. And and he'll say this, he's been hearing me for 3 years trash Belichick for letting Brady walk out the door. And my brother Pete didn't want to accept the fact that Belichick, his navel went without Brady, but the record bears that out. 77 and 87, that's a 10-year sample size. 1 playoff win. Brady left for 3 years, 37 and 21, 5 playoff wins in a Super Bowl, and he was past his prime, and he did that. He turned Bruce Arians, who couldn't win a damn thing, into a household name. So the bottom line is, my question to you, because this is what's been coming up. Sports Illustrated first reported this. These are not these are some reputable people that are doing this homework, are bringing the question up. And again, it's because of what is being said. To set the stage for you, Bill Belichick, after the season, said the Pats were 27th in spending the past 4 years. 27th. It's 32 teams in the league. That question was posed to Robert Kraft. Belichick said it like, look, we're not spending the money. What do you want me to do?
There's 33 teams if you count Goodell as his own team.
That's true.
Who's against the Patriots.
That's true.
Oh, boo,
but Kraft fired back last week and said, look,
I
want to be very clear here. Whenever Bill has come to me about money, I have never said no. Money will never be the reason this team fails. We will always spend, and if we don't, I will sell the team. That's a direct quote. That sounds a lot like a shot back at the coach, GM.
Yeah, I agree.
This is the thing. And honestly, I get why people are thinking what they're thinking, because Robert Kraft does not normally speak out, but he's tired of this shit. And he's tired of it for one simple reason. Belichick convinced him that Brady was done.
I will say
this.
And
he was wrong about that.
He
was wrong about that.
I'm going full Finion here, okay? They're not facts. They're not opinions. They're more minion than Finion. I said that wrong. It's my own thing. I made it up. I'm not even getting it right.
More Finion than minion?
They're more minion than opinion, right? So I met Kraft, and he has got.
You met Jonathan.
I met
not Bill.
I met Jonathan.
You met the son.
But I also met Robert Kraft.
Okay.
And he has got a small body and a giant head. His CBR is off the charts. His cranium to body ratio. You don't know what's going inside. His skull is like a T-Rex strength thickness. You don't know what's going on inside there. But I will say this.
He's an old man.
He's an old man, but I would not put it past him to have an ultimatum for Belichick that'll take Belichick by surprise. Because Kraft is the one that was here first.
Yeah.
And he hired Belichick, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And of course, Bill is obviously sounds like he's in charge. But
he lets him run the operation.
He lets him run the operation, but at the same time, you need results. And I wouldn't be surprised. The calculations going on inside Kraft's head, it's an unknown. That's why it's a Finion. Mm-hmm. But I would not be surprised if this is an acid test year, and we're going to see what shakes out. And if this year does not go well with all that's lining up, I would not be surprised to see Kraft take action against Belichick.
All right, let me ask you this. No, forget DeAndre Hopkins for a minute. The offseason moves, for the most part, I think have been good. They've brought in a tight end. They brought back Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, who was wildly successful when he was here. So they've done some things. They have brought in. I think they've upgraded. They've improved. They drafted the cornerback number one, who's number one on everybody's board as a cornerback. So it looks like they have a shutdown corner to go with these bookend pass rushers. One guy, Judon, 15.5 sacks. The other guy, Uche, 11.5 sacks. They got bookend corners. This defense should be top 5 this year. And Mac Jones with a guy who he won a national championship with, he's running Mac Jones's offense. On paper, this team looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And that's without even getting DeAndre Hopkins, which I think if they get him, that changes a lot of things. Right?
They're built to make the.
They're built to win now.
They're built to make the Bills coach have a hissy fit.
Yeah, they are.
And realize
right now they are.
They don't own the Patriots anymore.
Right now,
potentially.
So my question to you is, what in your mind do you think is a realistically what would be a successful season for this team? Really, let's go worst case scenario, they don't get Hopkins. What's the ceiling for this team without DeAndre Hopkins, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean it's. I think they could have 12 wins. Now that's obviously being very generous.
I don't know that it is.
Yeah,
because they won 8 last year, and that idiot cost them 4 games. That idiot being Matt Patricia, for those of you who don't know who the fuck I'm talking about.
I feel like
Matt Patricia cost them at least 4 games.
I am not so worried about the Bills as I was last year, and I'm still not worried about the Jets. No. And I feel like we can give Miami a run. Not in Miami. We're always somehow bad in Miami.
We struggle down there a lot.
We struggle down there a lot.
But up here.
But I feel like in our own division, are you really going to beat the Patriots? I mean, it's not a give. It's not. No one's got a gimme here.
I would say.
And I feel like the Patriots are set to gel and show us something. And if they don't, I mean, there's going to be some changes.
What I would say is this.
Can I just wrap this back real quick into like a little flavor? Yeah. So, it's flavor time, right? Feel free. Go to the bathroom right now if you want. There'll be no facts here for a few minutes. But I'm a fan. And as a fan, this is what I would love to have seen, is that Brady was just given put his own destiny in his own hands. And I would have said, Tom, you just do whatever you want. And if I was the owner, I would have come out and said, this is what I've...
Didn't he earn that?
This is what I've blessed. Yeah, and I would have said, you know what? Even as a fan, if Tom Brady was playing and he was failing, I wouldn't have minded. Because I'm like, it's Tom Brady. Let him do whatever he wants.
I don't think anybody would have minded. Give him what he did.
But the Handsome George is awakened. The Patriots have awakened. Handsome George. But for real though, I would have trusted Tom Brady. Like, first of all, if he was failing, he would have taken himself out, or he would have done something.
Well, he wasn't asking to be the highest paid guy.
I'm so mad.
He asked for help.
I'm so mad that they let Tom Brady go. Mm-hmm. Jumping back a few years here.
No, it's not. Listen, this is a wound that is not going away. It's not going away because the team is not winning.
Yeah,
Tom Brady went away and won a Super Bowl.
And as a fan of the Patriots, I was even happy for Tom Brady to win after he left. That's how much I love.
He proved. He proved it was him and not Belichick.
Yeah,
Belichick has proven it was Brady and not him.
Right. I'm not taking as much away from Belichick as my partner in crime.
Look, I'm not saying he didn't have a role here. He did. The head coach is important, and I'm not saying Bill can't coach because I think he can. My beef is with Bill the GM. More than Bill the coach.
He should be a coach.
Bill just the coach. I don't have a lot of complaints. Bill the GM. I got issues with. I've had a lot of issues with, and it started before Brady left. If you want to be honest. When Gronk retired the year before Brady's last year, he drafted 2 tight ends nobody could name in a lineup.
I know.
That are not even in the league anymore. So he missed twice. And look, I'm not expecting the next Gronk. I was expecting a guy who could get open and catch the ball. Is that an unreasonable request?
No, that's a smooth and creamy request.
That's a smooth and creamy.
Yeah,
that's a smooth and creamy. Is that an unreasonable request? No.
Why are there bumblebees on it?
I don't know.
It's not an unreasonable request at all.
I mean, when N'Keal Harry is your pick and you pass on DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, and AJ Brown.
Yeah.
How, do I not have a right to be mad at this?
Now you know why. I used to be confused about Belichick. He would always trade out of the first round. Put picks in for the future. I'm like, how about the now, right?
Well, how about the now?
Well, now I know why he trades out of the first round, because he's terrible at it. I mean, come on.
A dartboard
would be better.
At 15, which is a no-brainer. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. I don't care what it says.
And he's a competitor.
Mac Jones was the best quarterback in the best conference in America. And for you idiots that say he doesn't has a noodle arm, you think Nick Saban would sign a noodle arm to a full scholarship at Alabama?
Not to mention the fact that he's still getting stronger.
He made a Pro Bowl with that dickhead McDaniels as his coordinator. And as I said to Charlie the other day, Matt Patricia was so bad he made McDaniels look like Bill Walsh. Bill O'Brien is better than both these two put together, and he runs Mac Jones' offense. So Mac Jones is going to be in a comfort zone now, Mac Jones is gonna have full command of this offense. They've got weapons. This Baylor burner I keep talking about, Tyquan Thornton. We have a guy who's 6'2.5" and runs a 4.2 40. And ass clown Patricia had him running bubble screens. How is a guy that fast, that big, running a bubble screen and not going vertical with everything? I don't get it. And they have a 1,000-yard running back who's 25 years old, who doesn't have a lot of miles on those tires. They got a lot to work with.
They do.
The defense is stacked. Okay, they were worried. McCourty retired. They went out. The number one pick was the number one corner on the board. That was the smart thing to do. If you lose a Hall of Fame caliber secondary guy, you got to go get a guy with that first pick, and they did it. Okay, I get that. But that means two things. You either believe in this Tyquan Thornton, or you're going to go get DeAndre Hopkins. Which brings me to this. If they do get this guy,
Hopkins,
where do you think that puts him?
That's a very good question.
Knowing how good he is.
Yeah, I mean,
how good he is, right?
I just, of course, injuries is the wild card.
Well, yeah.
But I feel like, first of all, it's going to be a little hard to quantify where Belichick is right now. And let me just come back to that question in 1 second. This is what I kind of feel about Belichick. He talks a great game, or doesn't talk, so he loves to not talk, right?
And he thinks he's holding the secrets of the CIA.
Right. I know.
Like, he couldn't even tell people when Hopkins was landing for an interview that everybody knew he had.
Right.
Well, how ridiculous is that?
I know.
Like, everyone in America knows he's coming to visit the Patriots. What is the harm in saying he's landing at 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon? What secret is he? What is happening here?
Well, you heard the
that
stories.
He can't tell that or answer that question.
You heard the stories when he was playing lacrosse in college, how he would get injured, didn't like the doctor's report, went out and found another doctor to give another report. Now that's just what I've heard on various post-game shows over the years, whatever. I mean, who cares, right? But Belichick is definitely...
Look, I get a coach playing his cards close to the vest, especially during a game week when you don't want to tell your opponent, don't give him bullet board. I get that. I'm on board with that. I'm okay with that. But there are things... He takes this way too far.
He does.
He takes it way too far. Okay, if we're not talking about the Dolphins are coming in.
Wes Welker said after he went to Denver, he was like, he made a comment and he was like afraid, looking over his shoulder. It's like, ooh, should I have said that? And he's like, oh my God, that was like the effect Bill Belichick had on you. And maybe, it's great when it works. It's great.
Well, when you're winning, no one cares.
Right.
But when you're losing, you just sound like a grumpy, bitter old hag who can't accept the fact that the reason this team is where it is because of you. Every decision that has been made is Bill Belichick's decision. So to sit there, and then he turned around last year and goes, I'm not going to apologize for the last 20 years.
I know.
No one asked you to apologize for the last 20 years.
That's kind
We're
of like...
asking you. You're the one who said through your actions that Tom Brady was done. That hit you right in the face. Yeah. You were so wrong on that. So then you double down. You spent all this money on 4 guys who can't make a Pro Bowl on offense. You saw that little spending spree 2 years ago. 2 of those guys are gone. Jonnu Smith is gone. Nelson Aguilar is gone. He spent all this money, $175 million of Kraft's money in 3 days. Not one Pro Bowler on these 4 additions. Not one. And he wonders why he's being questioned? Are you kidding me?
So this is what I think.
What GM would not be questioned?
This is what I think potentially about Belichick. Now, first of all, I don't know, right? But I feel like this year is going to say a lot. Because they do have potential.
They have a lot of potential.
And if they don't come through with something, if they don't beat expectations this year...
Well, let me ask you this. What's a fair expectation? Forget Hopkins for a minute.
Honestly,
what's a fair expectation? Do they make the playoffs? Is that enough, or do they have to win a game? Or do they have to win? What's a fair... And again, the AFC is loaded.
Yeah.
This whole conference is loaded. What's a fair expectation? If they have a top 10 defense, again, which they're supposed to, they brought back a coordinator who had a lot of success here the last time he was here. And by the way, he worked with the quarterback and won a championship in Alabama. What is the expectation?
Okay, so
what should it be?
If you're not a Patriots fan, you're going to probably just want to tune out. But I can't help but think, just win all of it. That's just how I feel. But if you want me to just to come down and say you want me to
well, if they miss the playoffs, is a division title enough, or is a division title or a wild card and you win a game? What's enough?
Too deep to the playoffs. That's what I say.
So you're saying conference finals.
Conference finals.
You're saying AFC Championship.
Yeah, you got to get to that game and you got to win your division. That's what I feel. Now, I will say, in terms of Belichick, it's hard. How do you really know? There's just not enough out there to really say definitively what's what.
The guy won't tell you what he washes his hands with.
Of course.
Like what kind of soap he
But I will say this:
I mean,
he's made a couple of texting gaffes. Like he fired up a lawsuit with Brian Flores there. If someone else on his team had made that texting mistake, they would have been hung out to dry. So the fact that Belichick is doing something,
got away with it,
making an error like that, makes me question his ability to be fully in control of the whole coaching.
Said that Sean said something, alluded to this on Saturday too, saying, "Where is this guy mentally?"
Yeah, exactly.
Is he burning out? He's 71 years old. Has the game passed him
That's
by?
all. That
look, fair question.
You just boil it down to that's what I'm driving at. Where is he mentally?
That's a fair question. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. What I do know is that his quarterback. Look, when you draft a quarterback in the first round, forget who you're replacing. Take Tom Brady out of this for a minute. No one with a brain between their ears expects Mac Jones to beat Tom Brady. That's just not fair. Brady is
no one's going to beat Tom Brady.
No one.
Let's be fair.
And for Sean Darcy, the one problem I had with Sean the other day was Tom Brady makes people better. Tom Brady's one of one. You say that like Tom Brady's growing trees. That's my only problem with Sean. I never asked Mac Jones to beat Tom Brady. I asked Mac Jones to be good enough to help this team win a championship. That's not. And by the way, given his pedigree and where he's come from, and by the way, the SEC, if you can make it in the SEC, it's like making it in New York City. If you're successful in the SEC, Peyton Manning, okay, Eli Manning, I can go on and on about the SEC quarterbacks that have gone on to the pros and had great careers. Joe Burrow, I can go on and on and on. Okay, Mac Jones is one of those dudes, and they set him up to fail last year.
Yeah,
there's no way around that. So now Belichick, recognizing this, is doing everything he can, I think, short of signing DeAndre Hopkins, to give him a chance to succeed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives.
Clearly, he knows he screwed up.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have been doing all this shit if he didn't screw up.
Right.
That's a fact. Okay? So my thing is this, and I said this to Sean, I'll say it again to you. I don't expect Mac Jones to beat Tom Brady. That is not fair to anyone. Okay?
I agree.
I do expect him to be better, and again, with a coordinator who he has a relationship with, who he's won a championship with, I expect them to be monumentally better. Because honestly, that division is up for grabs. The AFC East is a 4-team race.
Yeah,
it is not a two.
Except for the Jets.
Well, the Jets do have Aaron,
I know,
who I think is a joke, but he is talented. He's got weapons, and the coordinator was this guy. They've worked together like Mac. The Jets are going to be in it, and their defense is for real.
This is what I feel about when you get to the quarterback level. When you get to elite quarterbacks, you have quarterbacks that are almost all the way there, and then you just find out that I kind of feel this about Peyton Manning, is that he was one of the best preparers, maybe the best, maybe tied with Tom Brady, whatever, close enough to call him one of the greatest of all times in preparing, and then he would go out there and perform, but if he was confounded, he could be taken off his game. And you couldn't take Tom Brady off his game. He was cool under pressure. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers a little bit he's not going to be 100% the greatest under that last bit of something that confounds you in the biggest of games. And I feel like Mac Jones...
Mac Jones has played in a lot of big games.
Right. And I'm not going to say it definitively, but
he's not a stranger to big games.
I have hope that he could just perform under those biggest moments and be solid. Because he's got that competitive fire. Not that the other guys don't have fire. They do. But to put it into practice and have it yield results, I am still open to judging Mac Jones as great under pressure.
I don't think you can judge him on last year.
No.
Because I don't think any quarterback could have succeeded last year under those conditions.
Right.
I don't think it's fair to him. I think this year, and again, a lot of this is predicated on, do they either get the number one in Hopkins or do they develop the number one in Tyquan Thornton? He's got to have a number one receiver. You look at, I said this to Sean the other day.
It helps.
Look at every great quarterback in this league, they've all got a number one. Whether it's a receiver or a tight end, they've got that guy. That guy that when push comes to shove, Brady had Gronk later in his career. Now, Brady's the only quarterback I've ever seen win Super Bowls, plural, without what I would call a league like that. Troy Brown would not have gone somewhere else and been a number one. Deion Branch tried, he failed. Okay, these were the two guys he won 3 Super Bowls with who were technically his number one. They wouldn't have been a number one in any other team.
Nope.
And Deion Branch proved that when he went to Seattle and he fucking fell on his face. Okay? Tom Brady is the only quarterback I've ever seen, Sean, do that. So don't hold Mac Jones to that standard. That is not fair. I wouldn't hold anyone to that standard. Okay? The question is, can Mac Jones be good enough to win a championship? I think if you get, and every quarterback needs help. You can't, I said this, you take Travis Kelce away from Mahomes, he ain't the same quarterback.
Look,
he's not the same quarterback.
Here's something I'll say about Mahomes, right? Obviously, super talented, exciting, everything else. I watched him 2 years ago. He has the two best offensive linemen in the game, and one of them was out with injury, or maybe they were both out for a short time. And the commentators were saying like, oh yeah, but he's playing without his offensive lineman. And you're like, okay, so he's playing without the two best in the entire league. Well, so is everybody else. Everybody else is playing without the best, lineman. So I mean,
you pay a guy like that to overcome things like that.
Yeah,
and he had all his weapons in the passing game. You're talking about the Super Bowl.
And I'm not trying to say that
Mahomes,
Patrick Mahomes isn't great. He
is great. He is great. But the bottom line is he has help.
Yep.
And all these quarterbacks, the reason people give Lamar Jackson.
When you did give Tom Brady help, Randy Moss, records, reigning records.
You get Gronk. I mean, look, every quarterback needs help. It's a team game. Pete, you're right about that. My thing about the Dallas Cowboys was Dak Prescott's always had help around him. He's never even got to a conference championship. And yes, Pete, not everybody can win it every year. This guy hasn't even been to a conference championship. He's making top 5 money. You know why you get paid that money? To overcome those things and get to a conference final or a Super Bowl. And Dak hasn't done it. Mac Jones last year was basically set up to fail, and he failed. Mm-hmm. Okay? By the way, every freaking professional analyst said the same shit. You can't count last year with him. Remember Goldilocks Sunshine down there in Jacksonville? His first year with Trevor Lawrence. Number 1 pick, Urban Meyer. Falls flat in his face.
Longest face.
Falls flat in his face. No one blamed him. They blamed Urban. The next year he gets a real coach. He goes to the playoffs.
RJ, Trevor Lawrence has got the biggest length of face ratio to jaw structure in all of professional sports.
He has been talking about this for whatever reason all week long. So I feel like you have to get something out.
I actually admire.
What is it about Trevor Lawrence's face that you can't stand?
I actually like Trevor Lawrence.
He's a good dude.
He seems like
you hear him
his
talk.
His team is behind him.
Yeah, but he works hard. He's a competitor. And by the way, he judges himself before anybody else. He says all the right things.
If the average quarterback face was Ernie, he would be Bert.
You can't stand his hair. You think his hair is wrong.
Small eyes. It's like
he thinks Trevor's hair is wrong for his face.
I'm glad for Trevor Lawrence.
What?
Good for him, Just look at just Google his face and look at it.
He's another example of a quarterback who, if the coaching is
why are you looking at Trevor Lawrence's face? I'm just gonna have a sip of my smooth and creamy Boddington.
He's a perfect example, another one of a quarterback who, if he has bad coaching, is going to struggle.
Yep.
So why does that apply to everyone else but Mac Jones? That's my question. Why, Sean? Because he broke his leg and down the tunnel he was crying because he broke his leg and thought his season might be over?
Part of the reason
that's the reason not to back the guy?
But Mac Jones outperformed Trevor Lawrence in his first year.
That's
why I'm bringing him up as well.
I remember Sean said this on a text. Well, he only got that Pro Bowl performance because nobody else wanted it. Here's the problem with that statement, Sean. He was second in the NFL to NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year to Jamar Chase, who broke every receiving record in the book. Mac Jones was number 2.
Yeah.
Not Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Not the dude from Chicago. No. Him. Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And with that dickhead McDaniels coaching him. So don't fucking tell me Mac Jones can't play. That's a load of shit.
Yeah.
Okay? The thing is, Mac Jones this year, I got news for you. I've been saying 12 wins without this guy. I've doubled down. I've tripled down. I have triple dog dare you, motherfuckers. I'm telling you right now.
You skipped double dog dare.
I exercised a breach of etiquette and went right for the throat. My point is this, okay? My point is this. You people sleeping on Mac Jones, you're going to rue the day.
And you know that when Mac Jones came into Gillette, they told him right away, you cannot complain. You have to follow... Right?
Mac
what
Jones
did he do? He complained because his competitive spirit did not want to be confounded.
He actually went and tried to get help. He wasn't going to take this lying down.
Right.
And he went back to his Alabama coaching staff, who Bill Belichick is best friends with.
And maybe,
so what's the harm in that? Is to keep it in the family.
Maybe
Sean.
that wasn't the best move on his part, strategy.
Actually, it was the only move.
But it showed how much he cared.
It showed
wants
he cared,
to win.
and that exactly. Thank you for saying that. It showed he cared.
Exactly.
Absolutely showed. Yes, you nailed that one. That's the gem of the night. It showed that he cared. Because any other quarterback or who took it lying down and didn't say anything, what do you say about that guy? Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you say something? And by the way, before Mac Jones went out of bounds, he tried to get help inside first, and he kept getting the same fucking answer. Follow this, follow the system. And this freaking bumbling boob of a coordinator who nobody thinks is a good coordinator, by the way. Nobody. No, I can't find one Matt Patricia backer anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. Not one person is calling this show or any other show for that matter going, hey, lay off Matt Patricia. He's a genius. Nobody's doing that tomorrow. Nobody did it yesterday. Nobody's doing it a week from now. Nobody. The fact the Philadelphia Eagles hired that idiot, oh my God, Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know what their fan base is thinking right now, but you guys are on suicide watch. Because if that idiot is anywhere near that fucking locker room, you're in trouble. Your team is in trouble. And I know this, we know this from experience. Okay, we have watched him fuck up Brady and Belichick together in their prime countless times. Where his idiocy has screwed that team up.
The Philadelphia fan base, they're not on suicide watch. They
will be.
They're on rampage page watch.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
You thought they were tough on Santa Claus? You wait till Matt Patricia shows up at the stadium.
And the Pope?
Nothing compared to Matt Patricia. Anyway, we're going to end this segment. So you think at least one playoff win and a division title.
Yes.
Okay? That's John's prediction. He's talking 12 wins. I'm talking 12 wins without DeAndre Hopkins. With him, I'm talking 14 wins. Sean, Mr. 7 win. And Sean's usually the optimist. I'm very upset with Sean because Sean, Belichick has scorned him. This is like Sean Darcy has been burnt. Like this is a different side of Sean. I didn't think he would, but I get why.
I think
but
Sean,
7 wins.
I think that Sean is on the rebound.
I think he is.
You know, and I love Sean.
Him.
He's awesome.
I'm worried about him.
I'm a little worried about Sean. But you know what, though? There's anyone that's going to tough it out and come out on top.
Like, seriously, what's going to happen if they lose week 1?
Sean is going to be fine.
So, yes, we're recording Sunday. Oh, look at that. See, that's why you marry a woman like that, because she's the best.
Okay.
Because you know what? If she's going to interrupt your recording, she's going to do it with a Sunday, because that's what you're supposed to do, ladies.
We're professionals. We just got Dairy Queen Sundays, and sports is over.
I think we're going to end on this note. We're going to end on Boddington's and Dairy Queen. And why not? Why not?
And I'm making Mac Jones the honorary Finian.
Mac Jones will be comeback player of the year this year, boys and girls. You heard it here first.
And if someone else starts using Finians, you can tell them, hey,
that's John McCosh.
John McCosh invented that.
I'll be back tomorrow. Ian Skinner. Skinner, who has a hot take.
Yeah.
Will be joining IDD for his return. The last time we saw him was Christmas when he lambasted Grant Williams, and Grant Williams is gone.
He kind of sounds like he's part of the British invasion back in the 60s, but no, he's a current sports guy.
He's a
great guy.
He's a passionate fan like this man here, like I am. He has got the pulse. He will be here tomorrow. You guys have a great evening.
Slancha.
It's great to have you back. We will do this again, maybe even at Christmas time. We will talk. We'll see, because Christmas time will be around playoff time. We have to see if the Patriots' predictions panned out, and we will talk about the Celtics, and we will see what this Red Sox team ends up doing.
Yes.
So until then, we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. The highly questionable one, John McCosh in the hizzy. Well, he owns the hizzy, so what are you going to do? Anyway, we will see you guys inside. And remember, boys and girls, don't be like Aaron Rodgers. Stay loose.
Yeah, don't be like Aaron Rodgers. Don't make $500 billion in your career.
And underachieve. It's no way to go through life. Until then, be good.